Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hope
Well,
all is well. We
yeah,
were
it's a
talking
special
about how
day
freaking
today,
cold things are getting
but it's
before the
warming up
stream started.
here. We have
Mhm.
much more normal weather ahead. So I mean, it'll frost at night still, but like not. It's been pretty cold here. So unseasonably cold. 19 degrees is too cold for before Thanksgiving.
No, it's in the 50s here. And see, when I say I like
Oh,
the cold, I like the 50s and 40s, and I like above freezing. Um, but mostly
yeah.
because when it does freeze here, uh, it's not just another Tuesday. It's a big deal. Like we're not equipped
So
to the city's not equipped to handle that.
yeah, I
So
mean, people don't have like good heat in their houses. Like,
when we
yeah,
yeah we have central heat, fireplace. I can make do, but it's like you have to get through a tough time when it's that freaking cold.
yeah, it's normal for here, but I wouldn't say I like it. So, yeah, it's been cold, but it's a special day.
It
Happy
is a
Happy
birthday,
special
birthday, Jenna.
day.
Jenna!
Happy birthday, Jenna!
Happy birthday, Jenna! I love you. Happy
And
birthday. Hope you have a good day. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you
hmm
have a good birthday evening with your family. Hope they treat you good. So,
she's been working.
oh,
She's
yeah,
off
Oh,
work soon, though. Probably right
yeah.
about now.
Well, that's good. My birthday is a Sunday this year, so I will not be working my birthday. So
yay. That's good.
yeah, it's good. But happy birthday, Jenna. I hope you have a good one. Eric
Eric.
Wildhouse says happy
Oh,
birthday, Jenna, before he
Thank you,
said
Eric.
Lance. But this one is
yeah.
super chat Jenna.
Double super chat.
Happy
Thank you, Eric.
thank you, Eric. And thank you,
And
Jenna, for all you do for all of us.
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
for all of her amazing
Especially for
ideas.
Steven. Yeah, and all that you do
Hmm.
for Fishman Christmas.
Yep.
Fish Fam Christmas, everyone. Get your channel signed up. If you want to
Yeah.
donate a prize or cash, no amount is too small. Mods will throw up the link for that, but we're getting close to having a Merry
Yep.
Christmas. So thank you, hardworking Fishman Christmas, Fish Fam Christmas
Fishman
Committee,
Christmas.
Fishman Christmas. And I know Jenna is a big
Of
part of that. So
I'm not working as hard as others on the committee.
it's,
Mostly like
it's not a
saying, "Hey,
compliment.
did anyone get that email and reply to the Fish Fam Christmas account?" And
You've
then
done
sometimes they're like, "Can
editing.
you email?"
You've done editing of videos, so you have played your part. It's a team effort. So thank
And
you, everyone who's done that.
I'll be a Santa if necessary, but that hasn't been discussed. So I don't have
Yeah,
the Santa suit.
you got to get the suit. I mean,
You
your
gotta dye
beard is
your beard.
also
Yep.
your beard is not very white.
Yep. You gotta start dyeing it.
Oh yeah, I have to do the full blown fake everything. Like it won't be a very good
Too.
Santa. Like it's not
Well,
an authentic premium mall Santa. It's gonna
I mean,
be bargain Santa.
we can't all be Rico. You
No,
know,
Mhm.
we just can't. I'll never get there. So, but happy
is
birthday,
Kelly
Jenna.
freezing for you, Myrtle?
Uh, no, I'm freezing, but both of you are fine.
Oh, neither of you are
Okay,
freezing on my end. I hope I made a really dumb face if I froze.
yeah, you did, and it was funny. And but I don't know if anyone else sees it. I
Well,
was
you're having some internet
glitching a
issues.
little bit on Bex's stream on Saturday, and so now I'm
Oh.
gonna have to what the hell's going on. Oh well.
Dee Dee says no one is freezing on her end, and Dee Dee is the authority on such things.
Mhm.
So maybe we're all okay. That's good.
Yeah.
So
I think it's me. I'm getting the low signal thing and glitching a little bit, and it just, of course, it's showing me looking okay, freezing. But if everyone's
well, Steven,
fine, then all
you're
good.
cutting out a little bit for me, so I don't
Yep.
know.
Your
Yeah.
voice is
Uh
starting to
oh.
cut out a little bit.
Son of a bitch.
Mm.
Well,
Geek
I
Boy
don't know.
says he's not going to type as much as I'm already about to throw my tablet into the highway. Oh dear. Oh
What happened?
dear.
Well, don't tablet and drive. Hmm.
Just stay strong. They will leave eventually. Just Steven, yeah,
What?
glitchy. You were a little like glitchy looking. I don't know what we can do about it. That's just that.
Well, I'll let then. Yeah. Can y'all still hear me? Do I exist?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
It's just minor. It's minor. It's minor.
You have like for every 15 to 20 words, maybe one word shorts out of it. But we get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I forget,
Well,
because I'm gonna forget. Foxanne wanted me to talk about the importance of charcoal in terrariums because she forgot to cover it.
yes.
And I forgot too. So you
Where
can
does it
either
go?
make it. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. So the purpose of the charcoal is to kind of like charcoal does an aquarium. It purifies things. It'll remove any like heavy metals or bad things from it. It'll also keep it fresher, keep any odors at bay. So it's kind of nice to use. You can either mix it in with your soil blend, or you can have it a discrete layer above your drainage layer and below, or above your drainage like screen or membrane and below your substrate. So she likes to do the layer because she likes the layered look. But you can also mix it in, whatever makes you happiest. But I have some right here.
How much of how thick? 'Cause I know it was like 3 inches or something for that drainage, and then
No, the
another.
charcoal just like a little sprinkle. It's just like, yeah, it's just a little sprinkle of it. So like a fine layer of it. So the charcoal comes in little chunks. This is horticultural charcoal that you can buy. I bought this at a plant store that's by my house, but you can buy it on Amazon. I think you can buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot also. It's not expensive. This is a huge bag of it. People also use this in house plants sometimes. So, or in their potting mix. So, yeah, that's the charcoal. So, and Brooklyn says, I've heard
Okay.
of horticultural charcoal and fine crushed is what is mixed into the soil. So you're good, Stephen. Yeah, you can crush it up a little more if you need to. I think the stuff I have is already crushed up good. So probably just leave it as is. But yeah, you want charcoal in there. So
Yeah, we still have Brooklyn's jar. Actually, it's in the van. We just have to set a time for me to go over there and
Yeah.
do the terrarium with scotch.
Of course. You're not going to do this sober. Yeah, and I'm doing my terrariums tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's the live stream at noon Eastern.
Yeah, a private date with two ladies.
Oh, I thought okay. I thought you were
I thought you were
live. So
okay.
No, I mean you can join us if you
sorry,
want, but no,
okay.
it's the two of us. The three of us are gonna just do it. So yeah, just as a hangout thing. But yeah, so
I got you.
I wanted to get that out of the way before the topic, before I forgot. So,
hmm
but today's topic, trimming.
Today's topic was requested by Scotty the Fish Freak.
That's right. So
He
hopefully
wants to
we'll
know how to
answer
trim
all
his
of the
plants.
questions.
So Scotty, you better be listening.
Yeah, Scotty, you better take notes.
We'll quiz you at the end.
I
And
did a lot of trimming last
while y'all
night.
talk, I'm gonna try to like do a little bit of rebooting of my browser in OBS. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
All right.
So you can see this
All
tank over here is very nice and clean right now. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can make it more. How's that? It's so hard. Here we go.
Yep, we can see it now.
Yeah, I got everything all nice and trimmed up. I spent about an hour and a half on it. It really needed it. So.
With all those stems that you have, especially in the back.
Yeah, those damn rotalas. But I'm not willing to trim them more than every 3 weeks. That's just that. And I try to focus on one. I water change all 3 every week, but I focus on one tank a week. So it seems to work out fine. But so trimming is kind of inevitable if you end up growing aquatic plants for any period of time. And if you start using CO2 and lots of light, there's even more of it. So there's kind of 2 reasons to trim. One is for aesthetics, and one is for plant health. Geek Voice is for manscaping, you know?
Probably.
There you go.
That's another reason.
But I mean, at a minimum, you do need to do some trimming for plant health. So if you have plants that are overgrowing others, if it's blocking light, if the bottoms of them are starting to die out, it's time to trim them. If they're encroaching on other parts of the tank where you just don't want them, it's time to trim them. And so trimming is done in a couple different ways. If it's stem plants, we'll just cut right through the stem. Now, depending on how low or how bushy you want to make that stem will determine where you trim it. But what trimming does is, so with stem plants, the tip of the stem is where the apical meristem is, and that's the growth tip of the plant is a meristem. And so the apical meristem is the topmost meristem. So, and it's producing a hormone called auxin. And auxin is dominant over a hormone produced at the roots called cytokines. And those exist in opposition. So if you cut the tip of the plant off, it removes apical dominance of the plant, and it causes all of those lateral buds to kind of wake up. Those are meristematic, and to start bushing out and growing from there. And that's how you can get a nice bushy plant. So if you've ever grown basil, you want to pinch the tips of it a lot, and it'll give you a nice bushy basil plant. And this is just the same thing. There's nothing super fancy to it. You could use scissors. You could use your fingernails. You can use your teeth.
I use my fingernails.
Yeah, use your fingers. I mean, they're delicate. You can just prick them with your fingers. You could use your teeth if you're feeling soft.
Bobbing for plants.
Yeah. But, the curved scissors are really nice to use because you can reach things. If you're trimming a big tank, I've seen those little snips are really nice because it can maybe reduce hand fatigue. If you're trimming a whole like Dutch style aquascape, have fun with that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, working with different scissors, I have definitely learned that not all scissors are created equal. Like,
I agree. Same with
there's
tweezers.
a reason why there's $50 scissors out there.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they are so smooth and they're light and they're easy to use. And I wish I had some.
And Aquashella, I almost bought a $75 pair of tweezers.
Ooh.
Didn't have my purse with me. They were, oh God, they were gorgeous. So they were long, but they felt really great. They had nice
Mhm.
pointy tips, and they were blue. They were like anodized blue aluminum. But I didn't have my purse. And he's like, well, this is my last ones. And when I went back, it was gone.
Oh,
Damn.
But yeah, it does make a difference if you're trimming a lot to use good tools. But, you know, if all you have are kitchen scissors, it'll get the job
that
done.
works in a pinch too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll get the job done. And then you'll want to have good tweezers to replant any of your stems. So stems, you can trim the tops. You can just stick them back in the store into the aqua soil. You can also, like, if you have rotellas, you could stick them in the bush and like
Mhm.
they'll kind of anchor themselves in there and they'll grow aerial roots and they'll look really nice that way.
Yeah.
For rosette plants, I pull them. Like I just pull them out of the soil. So like I have crypts that get out of control and you know they get places I don't want them to be. So for instance, I have Crypt spiralis that's really invading this side. And
So
I'll
the
pull some of
spiralis, it sends out runners, and
and outrunners
it's like it can be like super long runners that just
Yeah.
go all the way to one side of
everywhere.
the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other side, complete opposite side of the tank.
It's not as invasive as Val, but it's invasive. And so I have to pull up those little plantlets and then I give them to people. But you can, so what they have are like little plantlets, and in between that is stem tissue. It's called a stolon. You can cut right through that, and then I'll give you another little plantlet that you can plant. So like Sagittaria does that, Phallosneria, crypts. I mean, some crypts are not very invasive though, but spiralis is pretty invasive.
Yeah. So with so like my Crypt tropica, it doesn't send out runners. It just
grows next to the plant
grows.
itself, and then
Yeah, it's like one big crypt, but then when you start taking it apart, you realize, oh, it's like a crap ton of them.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
and
so you
those
can just
you
divide it.
pull the clump out and divide it, just like you would, you know, in your yard, like with a hosta or something. I mean, a lot of what we do in a tank is a lot like you would do gardening out in your yard. I mean, and I'll take clumps out and I'll thin them. Like if I just think that they're a little too crowded, or I want to give them to someone. You know, it's just part of plant health. For swords, I take the outer leaves and I pull them off just with my fingers right at the base on the outside of the rosette, and that keeps it under control because I don't want my swords to get too huge. I like the look smaller. And also the
Anybody
outer
want a
leaves.
3-foot sword? Because I got one and I don't want it.
So does Mike of all things fish.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a bigger sword. It's huge, yeah. Taking up a third of his 125.
You know, I have
feeling
seen
insecure now.
I have seen bidding at fish auctions for some of those monster swords get really high because there are people who are just like, wow, cool big sword, instant giant planted tank, which there's, yeah. So Scotty asked, how do you trim Amazon sword and Val and other tall plants? So I just pull the leaf at the base with my fingers. For Vals, if you have Val leaves that are too tall, like you have Val gigantea or even a Val americana that's too big, just pluck them right at the base or trim them with scissors. That's fine too. But if you have Val that's invading your tank, which it will, eventually Val will invade your entire tank, you've got to pull up the plant and pull the runner out. And you could either throw it out, give it away, you could plant it elsewhere. But if you leave even a little piece of runner,
another plant will grow up, right?
Yeah, it's invasive. And that's true with these damn crypts too. These damn spiralis, they get everywhere. So, but spiralis is not as invasive as Vallisneria. Not
if you ever want the same look, just use Crypt spiralis instead of Vallisneria.
Yeah,
and it kind of looks better too.
It's still invasive, but it's not as bad as Vallisneria. Vallisneria is just too invasive. So Scotty asked, can you give them a haircut? Kind of.
It depends on the Vallisneria and the plant itself.
So you have to think about where the meristem is in a plant. So meristem is the portion of the plant where the growth occurs. So in a stem plant, it's at the tip, and then there are lateral buds all along it. So if you cut the tip off, you release that apical dominance and it can bush out. But with rosette plants, the meristem is at the base, the crown, and then the leaves all radiate out from there. So you don't want to cut the crown, or you'll cut your meristem off and it'll die. But if you just pluck those leaves out, the outer leaves off, it's fine. You could cut them midway too, kind of like you cut your grass. So your grass outside, you mow it, but it grows from the base.
Yeah.
So Jenna points out you have to be careful with some vowels. Yeah, Italian vowel is a delicate one. But like if you have jungle vowel, like vowel gigantea, Vallisneria americana, those are not delicate. Italian vowel is a little more delicate. Isn't Vallisneria the spiral vowel? Isn't that one a little more delicate?
Yeah, both of them.
I've never had that one.
So is Vallisneria americana the corkscrew one? I have seen it named a million different things.
You can never really tell. Like they all,
Yeah.
each store will sell a different name. Yeah, jungle valley is
Assuming
just
that
a
was
general name
jungle
for 3 different species.
Yeah. I mean, gigantea, Vallisneria gigantea is usually like the regular jungle vowel, like the Vallisneria americana, is pretty big too. So, yeah, but for most vowels, not the Italian vowel, you just pluck them from the bottom. But I don't think that trimming vowels is usually a goal unless you have ones that are like super long. I would say you should be pulling plantlets out and getting rid of them, keeping it from invading into areas of your tank that you don't want. So Craig says, I had a Val Bloody Forest moved house and it died.
Yeah, vowels are picky. Yeah, if you replant, get it from a store, it'll melt back and then take months, and then it starts growing back, or change the water. Yeah.
Here's another thing about vowels. They are one of the only plants that kind of likes higher KH water. I mean, they can do fine with lower KH, but they actually like higher KH because I have been told, I have read that they can metabolize carbonate and fix it as a carbon source.
Well, it
Would
makes
that
sense
be in their root structure or their leaves? Where are they doing that?
Well, they would probably pull it from the leaves out of the water column because they would be using it in photosynthesis. So
it makes sense. It's one of the few fully aquatic plants that are out there, and so it makes sense that it's adaptable to low CO2 environments.
Yeah, and so when Beck says, like, be careful with Italian vowel, she has to be a little more careful than, like, I would have when I lived in Iowa, where my KH was sky high, and vowels were really robust there. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it's one of the few plants, maybe the only one I can think of, that really prefers some KH in the water. Yeah. But vowels, I mean, you kind of just have to expect that they will be invasive. I mean, a healthy vowel is an invasive vowel. That's just the way it goes. So what are you showing now, Stephen?
Scotty sent me 2 pictures, and so
all right,
the first one. So I'm not sure what his question is. I see he's got an Amazon sword.
I would do nothing to those plants just yet. They look fine. I mean,
take off the damaged leaves of the Amazon sword.
Yeah. I mean, and that's true of any of your plants. If you see a leaf that's not great, if it's yellowed, like I go through all my Java ferns every week and I kind of like pluck through any yellowed or gross leaves and I just throw them out. I just use my fingertips to pull them off. I don't use scissors for that. It's easiest just to pull them with your fingers. And, that way the plant will put more energy into new healthy growth. And you want that crap out of your tank anyways. It's just going to
cause organic waste in the tank eventually.
You just pull them. Yeah, Scotty, just pull them with your fingers from the base. They'll come right out.
Yep.
Just, kind of pinch them with the tips of your fingers and your fingernail. They'll pull right out.
Well, mine have gotten so damn thick that I have to really hack away at it.
You have to use scissors. See, I've never let my swords get that out of control because I try to keep them a little more manageable. But
I just wanted to see what would happen, and I'm like, I don't want it.
Yeah. So in that case, you need to use scissors or maybe a chainsaw. So what are we looking at here?
Some Java fern and
A crypt of some kind.
Is that a crypt that's just kind of free floating or what?
I would plant the crypt if there's a free floating crypt. Java ferns. So if you have CO2, your Java ferns will grow, and you're fertilizing well, your Java ferns will grow really lush. And every now and again, I pull out the clump and I just break the rhizome, and I give that away. And then I reattach the rest of the clump. I also, every week, I swish through my Java ferns, get the debris out of them. I pull out any dead leaves. I don't usually have a lot of baby plantlets because I'm using, my Java ferns are pretty happy. If you do have a bunch of plantlets, you can pull them off and you can propagate them. You can also decide you want to make your Java fern happier by giving it CO2 and light and fertilizer, and you won't have those. But if you like the baby plantlets, you can replant them, and they just pull off with your fingers. So Brooklyn says, almost to Clegg's nursery now. I hope they protected all the houseplants from this cold weather.
Oh, yeah,
Watch them not have any. Well, I hope you find some, Brooklyn. I hope you find some cool plants.
If you do, Brooklyn, can you get some for me? I don't care. I'll pay you back for whatever. I haven't had a chance to order any, and I don't. If I went to Clegg's by myself, I wouldn't know what to look for, like what stays small.
Well, and the good news is like if Brooklyn gets one plant, you can take cuttings from it for your
Right.
stuff. Like, you guys can share a plant.
So Scotty's asking, what about the height of the Java fern? I'm okay with the width, but it's getting so tall.
Get a bigger tank, Scotty.
Yep, that's
Like, what are you putting that thing in? Because I've never had a problem with Java fern being too tall.
You can't, like, it doesn't work. Like, you can't treat a Java fern like a stem plant. The only place you can trim it is to and I usually just break the rhizome. You can cut the rhizome with scissors, but you have to cut it through the rhizome. You can't just, it's going to make the leaf very unhappy. It's not going to kill the plant, but it's not going to look good. So if you have a Java fern that's out of control in the tank, get a smaller Java fern. There are some smaller varieties. Windalove is smaller than narrowleaf. There's there's mini trident, and the more fancy Java ferns, though, I will say, are not as vigorous. But if you don't like the height of the Java fern, get a bigger tank or get rid of the Java fern in it. It's just that's what they do. So
yeah.
Scotty is completely unprepared to figure out what to do with things that are get bigger tanks, Scotty. Scotty's always like trying to like min-max his setup. He's like,
well, Scotty lives in an apartment.
I know. He's like, I have a 4-gallon apartment. Can I put white clouds in it? I'm like,
a 4-gallon apartment.
That's a very small apartment.
We lived in a 4-gallon apartment in one point.
I have 2. Yeah, I have 2. But there are smaller Java ferns. There are smaller Java ferns. And if that Java fern's just, driving you nuts, just either move it or give it to someone else, Don't fight it.
Two small Java ferns that are quite easy to keep. They might be a little hard for you to find in your area, but Java fern Philippines and then Ishikawa Island, both of those are quite small Java ferns, and they grow quite as readily as a regular normal Java fern would. So they're not very picky.
I think I have some Philippine, but I put it in that fluval chi, so it has done nothing for the year that I've had it. Because, the fluval chi sucks.
What is fluval chi?
Is that the little light, the one in underwater light thing?
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, you have.
Like
Kelly. You told me to throw that tank away. You said, don't even try to fix it, just throw it away. Get a better tank. Because, it's a 5-gallon cube rimless thing. It's got
that thing.
A box that's a filter and a light that's all in one with one plug. It sits down into the water. So it's like 3 or 4 inches below the water line. And, It doesn't grow shit for shit.
And I told you to throw it away. Well, you
Yeah.
know what? I give good advice.
Well,
But
I
there
still
were
have it, but I'm still
stop
hating it.
fighting it. Just get a tank you like. I mean, just
Yeah,
quit
it
fighting
was. I don't
it.
know. It's a glass box. It's gonna have water in it. I ain't throwing away a
Get
glass
a better
box full of
get a
water.
better make a terrarium out of it.
Yeah.
So
Not a
Scuba
bad idea.
Stevo asks, "Hey Kelly, can I use global green pothos in my tank? Like hang the roots in the water and the leaves out the top. They got some at work and I might pick some up if I can use them for a tank." Yes, you can, and they grow really great. I use these little clips. They're made by Pothocarry, POTH hyphen O hyphen CARRY. They have them on Etsy, but you can also just rig something up with some wire or twist ties. But yes, it will, you can put it in the water. Those cuttings will root and they will grow. The only reason this pothos has not grown very much is it's really not getting any light. I might put a plant light in the corner, like a goosenecked one between these. It's really hard to gesture looking at myself in a mirror. There we go. Between that corner between the two that has like a gooseneck to help light both of those, because that pothos is just not growing much.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So Scotty asks, stems trim at the base. Stems you can trim wherever you want. If you trim at the base, you're not going to have any plant left. It's probably going to die. Like if you trim it right at the base, the rest of it's just going to rot away.
Yeah, I like trimming where there's at least like a
2
several
to 3
leaves
inches. Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
I just want there to be leaves so that it easily photosynthesizes and keeps growing.
Yeah. So for a plant like Alternanthera renickii, like the mini, I pinch the tips because I like to keep them short, but I mostly just want to make them bushy. And if you pinch the tips off, you get rid of that apical dominance and they'll bush out. So I just pinch the tips off of them and sometimes I replant them or I throw them away. But for stems, it kind of depends on where you want that bushiness to start. Like I wouldn't go, let's say, below 25% of the stem. So Big Shrimpin says, I got some really nice bunches of needle leaf Java fern, and in like 2 weeks, it got pinholes like crazy. I was told potassium, which is what I was asking you about, Stephen, a couple weeks ago. I think it's not just potassium. I think Java ferns are nutrient hogs. They're nutrient hogs. They're a
overall nutrients.
Yeah, they're a bellwether plant. I know that I need to start fertilizing more in general if my Java ferns look like trash. And when I forget to fertilize all the time.
Yeah.
It
Well,
shows
I was telling him like the pinholes and leaves, while like that the charts will always point to potassium, it doesn't have to be potassium. It can be magnesium, it could be a microfert.
Right.
It could be just like it's not getting the right combination of things. So
get yourself an all-in-one. You need a liquid fertilizer for Java ferns. Root traps aren't going to help you. Like Easy Green or Nalac G, doesn't matter. Those are two good ones. Tropica, I've never used Tropica, but it's fine. And just dose it, and I think that'll improve it for you. But that's my indicator plant. When Java ferns look trashed,
water column fertilization.
It needs more. It just needs more. So, and then
speaking of fertilizers, two brands not to pick: the API one and the Seachem Flourish. Both of them are very watered down.
Yeah, what's the API one called? Like Leaf something?
Leaf Zone. Mm-hmm. If you really like paying for water and plastic, you could get that. I mean, they'll work, but if you like paying for water and plastic, that's what you should use. I just think that two brands that are available in the United States easily are Easy Green from Co-op, Nalac G. They have a couple different varieties. They're fine. Go with one of those. They're comparable in price. I've used both, and I can't tell a difference. I know other people can. Different tanks, different water. But go with one of those. If you live outside the United States, the Tropica line is pretty good, and that's available lots of places.
Yeah, you can get Tropica in the U.S. too. And the price it's comparable to
Yeah,
like
where
nylon.
do you get Tropica? I
What?
think they have it at
I got it
Aquarium.
on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Tropica fertilizer. Now, Tropica tissue cultures are still highly elusive on the interwebs. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that the store not too far from my house has them. So, and then Zenny says, note, Windalove is a bitch. If you have hair algae issues, it's like little pitchforks that grab it and hold it, and then I have to remove the whole plant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best I can recommend for you for your Java ferns is every time you change your water, take your hands and swish, 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 get them nice and clean, get that debris out of them. That'll help. But yeah, that does suck.
I did a
So,
bulb trimming yesterday. I could share a picture of that.
yeah, let's see. And while you look for that, Oinky got her terrarium jar. And Oinky, I'm making the substrate tonight. So I will mail it to you and I will send enough substrate for 2 terrariums. And I'm going to mix the charcoal in so you won't need to worry about it. All you need to do is get your plants and gravel. So you
And
will have
a layer to divide both of them, like the fabric.
Yeah, I'm going to send that too. I'm going
Uh-huh.
to cut that out too. So you'll have that also. Yeah, so you just need gravel and plants. So yeah, I hope you guys have fun with that. All right, that looks great, Steven. You did a good job trimming that.
So you can see this is what happens when you don't clean your moss and you have it under very high light.
Yeah, and flow is occluded when you don't trim. You're blocking the flow, and moss loves flow.
Yeah. But I have enough of it that I can just grab some of this crap off the top of it and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
I just, got to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And then over here on the middle leftish, this is my Rotala willikii.
Nice.
Myrtle sent me a good bit of it, and I put it in my 7kh water, and it all disintegrated except for like one sprig. I saved that one sprig and put it in here, and then Beck sent me a whole bunch of hers, and that stuff did not even like need time to convert. It just took off.
Because Bex already has the right water for it. The alternate theras that Mike sent me are not doing well. I think they need lower KH.
Neither are mine.
They've melted away. I mean, I'll give them another week, but I think I'm probably gonna have to toss them.
Mine had the disadvantage of being in the mail a little bit too long too.
Oh right, yeah. Mine got sent right away. They came in great shape, but I just think my KH is too high. So, what can you do? I guess I got the arrow water.
Yeah, well, also you can do what I've been doing, and it's working.
But we are not. I mean, we can mention that, but I am not telling people. You need to. If you want to do that, you need to go do the work on your own.
Yep.
Learning about research.
Yeah, but in general, you put acid. Yeah.
I will answer them. But if you were like, oh, how do I just dump acid? Can I just dump it in my tank? No, I will not tell you how to do it.
No.
Yeah, because every tank's different. The chemistry in each tank, your water where you live, the stuff you have in your tank, all the chemistry is different. So you have to do your research.
And you need to know how to handle acid safely.
Yep.
And if you are not 100% confident you know how to do that, I mean, I am because I worked in labs for half my life. Yeah, half my life.
And I can be safe with it because I don't want to get burned.
Well, and also you asked questions and you asked the right questions. But I'm not. Anyways.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm saying that to you is like, you know how to do it, and it's not, and for you, it is not that hard.
No, it's not. But I will say this, that if what you really want to do long-term in your life is have lower KH, do RO.
Invest in an RO system, yeah.
Because here's the thing, it's going to get real lame real fast mixing up trash can after trash can of water, adjusting it with acid, pHing it, mixing it. It's fun to do on small scale, but 40 gallons, as someone who has worked with large volumes of solutions, it sucks. Just either learn to live with the water you have or get an RO system. I mean, like I just live with the water I have. Sometimes you just need to adapt your environment.
No.
All right.
I mean, hey Myrtle, this is
Mhm.
Hygrophila chai, right?
Which one, the little pink stuff?
Yeah.
Uh, if he sent you some, then yeah, it could also. Yeah, I think so.
You know, there's probably like 300 or more aquarium plants in the aquarium trade. And I would say find the 250 that are good, that'll grow in your tank.
No.
Stop fighting it. You haven't even tried all of those.
I know.
So,
Yep.
you know, that said, I mean, there will probably come a time in my life where I have an RO system, but it'll be in a different house. It'll be because I want to have salt water. It'll be because where I live has way higher gauge than I have now.
Mhm.
And but I wouldn't. I'm very comfortable with pH meters, pH, KH test kits, and handing it like acids. And I'm not going to bother with this because it's not. It's
I do what I want.
you do what you want,
Whatever.
but I'm telling you, if you're still doing this regularly in 6 months, I will be shocked.
Oh, I
Mhm.
will. I will too.
Yeah,
I just like to. I like to fuck around a little bit. All right.
I get that.
And
I
I
get
want to
that.
see. And if I'm still doing it in 6 months, the only reason I would still be doing it is to breed the Corridoras
I
because
get that.
I
Yeah,
have
I
done
mean,
the
you
HCL
know,
water change twice, and both times I got at least an egg out of it. So I'm doing something right with that. So I'm
yeah,
going to keep
no, it's
doing that.
true. It's true. I mean, there are people who will soften water with peat and
Mhm.
put up with to breed, and they'll put up with like
I don't want all
black
that.
tanks. I don't want to do that.
So Myrtle, what's the likelihood of this chai doing anything?
Very low.
I took it
said,
out of my
Mike,
7 pH water and I put it in here because it was doing nothing other than growing
this will do
lilies and pot
nothing
algae.
plus
It'll,
half of
yeah.
nothing. It'll be nothing and a half. Is basically
Well,
what
what
it
do
will
you
do.
have for a substrate in there? Is that sand?
Sand. Yeah.
It's sand and
That's not good.
it's stratum underneath it. Let me finish,
But
man.
the sand's gonna choke the chai.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It will.
it's
Yeah.
a delicate flower.
It's very delicate. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not want your sand. It does not want you. It wants
want
great,
me.
perfect circulation. It wants perfectly low, super, super low KH. It wants perfect fertilization. I mean, it doesn't want to grow in a tank.
Well,
Yeah.
then
And it barely
maybe
wants to grow outside of a tank.
it
Just
shouldn't live
find
then.
a plant that'll
It shouldn't live.
grow.
Yeah. Mike.
Maybe,
Yep.
you
Mike
know,
and
there's
I
a
always say.
million
Oh, sorry.
plants that will grow well. I
Mhm.
mean, why fight it? I'm
Yeah.
Mike,
there's a lot of easy plants in this world that are more worth my time.
A lot of green
So
stuff too.
what were you saying, Myrtle? You and Mike?
Oh, Mike and I, we would say that it's a plant that shouldn't exist at all. I mean, it's a lab-grown plant. It's not a plant you'd find in nature. So it does fine in a lab setting, but a lab setting is completely different from a fish tank.
oh yeah,
Because
there I mean
everything is controlled in a lab. Everything they control. They control how much light, the
Yeah.
exact nanoliters of fertilization that they give. The growth medium is designed
they
specifically for
can
that
grow
plant.
them in that gel media, which is perfectly supported. I mean, I've grown plants in that gel media before because I worked in a plant tissue culture lab once,
I
and
saw such a lovely carpet of it online though.
yeah,
It gave
and
me
you
false
know,
hope.
there are people can do it,
Mhm.
but I'm not saying that you're not them, but you're not them.
I'm not.
Because,
Well,
because,
because
you
I
know,
don't have the patience and the time to devote to one plant like that to
well,
make
and
it.
Exactly.
also,
Which
yeah,
is
they
what,
have
yeah.
like 1 or 2 tanks, and you
Mhm.
have more than that, and you know, you're dumping sand on top of your stratum, and they're using like 88 aqua soil, and it
Mhm.
makes a difference.
Well,
Yeah, I
when I
mean,
packed this bowl, I wasn't thinking I would grow little delicate plants.
yeah. So, Big Shrimpin says, I use RO almost exclusively. And even with that, you're still mixing giant barrels of water and adding this and that. Yep. My well water had so much iron, I have to. I need a whole house treatment system. You sure do. And that's part of why Steven and I haven't done it is we don't have places to store big
Mhm.
barrels of water.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is the space.
I mean, I want what I had in the lab where I would just open a tap and RO water came out. And like at Jake's lab, because he's a biomedical engineer, they have a tap that comes out RO water at like bathtub pressure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, let's put a tank in there, Jake.
Yeah.
But
just
he
take the
won't
whole building and turn it on.
it. So
Thank you, Austin, for the
Thank you,
Oh,
Austin.
thank you, Austin. Are you streaming tonight, Austin? Let us know.
Indeed.
So yeah, but if you're planning a fish room, I think from what I've gathered, it is best to invest in the biggest RO system you reasonably can, because especially the harder your water is, the more they will clog.
Mhm.
And you'll
Dee
have
Dee
to clean
said
those memories.
Luke can grow the chai. Well,
There you
it's,
go.
it's
Luke
also
has,
pretty telling that the amount of chai he sent me was literally that one sprig. So
yeah,
it's
and
not like he has a
Luke
lot to
also
spare.
has perfect water right out of the
Mhm.
tap.
Yeah.
That's why all those Seattle people have all the cool plants, and they're like, "Oh, I only need 1 bubble per second of CO2." Yeah, you do.
Because you don't have any KH for to eat up the CO2.
So Geek Boy says, if you were eating all that damn time prepping your water, you may as well do something really dumb like salt water. Yeah. So my
No.
rainbow fish friends, they have assured me that if I want to do Pseudomygal dorsalis, which is it's a saltwater pseudomygal, it can go brackish or full salt. They're like, it doesn't care if you use RO water. Just mix the salt in your tap. You don't even need to measure it good. And they're like, and those seaweeds will grow fine. So I don't know. Maybe I could just try it without RO water.
But I wonder if other crap will grow too. Like, isn't the problem with using tap water is that there's other nutrients in there that feed algae you don't want. There's microalgae.
Yeah, but the
you
thing
don't
is
know
like
about.
the macroalgae outcompete it.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's corals that are the problem.
Mhm.
Corals are a problem, and I don't really want to grow corals. But maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah, you say that now.
Well, but I'm not setting up another tank anytime soon. It's just not yet. So Geek Boy says effing tablet and phone need to burn in hell. Oh, weird. Get an iPhone, won't have these problems.
Yep, exactly.
There you go. Yeah, Myrtle gets it. So Zenny says, I still can't use tap for seahorses. That's true. They're very sensitive creatures. But Pseudomygal cyanodorsalis, so my friend Dave, who he has bred them in Canada, he says that he's had a fish jump from full salt, because all rainbows and pseudomygals like to jump. They jumped out of the tank and landed below that in one of his freshwater tanks. It was just fun.
I was just gonna say that people have mistakenly
Super
kept
hardy.
those in fresh water, and while they get really sad over time,
they're okay for a while. They
Yeah.
don't breed well. They need to be brackish to be really happy, or full salt to be happy. They're also happy at full salt. Big Shrimpin says, the sad part is I'm a plumber and completely capable of doing it. It's just funner to buy $100 fish than a $3,000 treatment system. I already had the RO from my reefing days. Amen to that. Equipment is, I mean, I know there are people who are into equipment. Fuck that. It's way more fun to buy fish. So Geek Boy says, no way my dead fruit phone from work. Always change what I'm trying to type as well.
Yeah, my work phone's an iPhone. It doesn't change the size of my fat ass
I
thumbs.
understand that.
So
I don't have a problem. I have very tiny fingers.
yeah, I just mash the buttons, and autocorrect has sort of learned what I'm trying to say, but it's not always right.
I just don't have these problems. I've used iPhones for years. This is just not a problem.
Kelly has no problems. Kelly just like closes her eyes and goes to sleep, and then her internal alarm goes off, and it's time to wake up.
Got 99 problems and an iPhone ain't one. There you go. So BJ says, Kelly, I'm 3 minutes behind, but info's too good to skip to live. On a well.
See you in
Okay.
3 minutes.
We're here from the future.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Gifted 5 memberships.
Oh, see, I'm not on YouTube. I can't see that, but thank you, Eduardo. Thank
QC, J, Jen Yu, Silver Creek.
And Ivy.
Number 5.
Yay. Welcome.
Ivy was number 5.
Oh, there she is. Yeah. Nice.
Zenny says Samsung Swipe really screws me once in a while. It's when it's pretty. I don't even get this. Apparently, you can download an app to do that on iPhone. I don't want to do that.
I've
I think you
tried.
can do it on an iPhone without the. Are you talking about the swipe? The swipe.
Where
to
you
text?
slide directly from one letter to the
I
other.
have a friend who
Yep.
does swipe texting, and he sends me so many garbage texts. It's so hard to understand what is going. There's a lot of weird things going on in his head. You know, we all have one friend who's our weirdest friend. And
I want to be the weird friend.
No, Steven, you can't compare with Steph. He's in a weird polyamorous relationship with like 5 girlfriends. You can't compete.
Oh my God, that sounds stressful.
And doesn't it sound awful?
Oh,
I don't want to do that. It's awful. We all have one person who's our weirdest friend. Scotty says Annette is his weirdest friend. You know, if you think of all your friends, you've always got one who's the weirdest. Maybe I'm someone's weirdest friend. I don't know.
I keep looking out the window because I'm waiting for a same day delivery of something.
Zenny says if you don't have that one friend, take it.
Know yourself. I'm totally fine being the weird friend.
That's right.
Don't care.
That's right.
Embrace the weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I embrace him. He is my friend. I just I'm not his girlfriend. Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you want to be like 1/5 of his life? If
For
you
1/6, if Kelly's an addition, it'll be
I am
1/6.
no one's side bitch. I am number one. I am not a third side bitch. No. Okay, BJ says, on a well, are home water softeners safe for fish plants? In the 80s was taught no. The thing is it will not reduce your KH if that's what you wanted. It is safe for plants. So just be careful that when you flush your water softener, so what you do is you flush the resin with brine, so with salt.
Oh.
Be careful that you
Get all the salt out.
add the salt, like let the tap run for a while, because plants hate salt.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of salt in your plant. That's why it always makes me cringe whenever like Aquarium Co-op is always like, plants love minerals. Not every mineral. Plants hate sodium. They don't like it.
Good old sodium chloride.
Will they tolerate it? Sure. But like if you heard the expression like salt the earth before, which is like a favorite expression of mine, it's because, people used to salt the ground so crops wouldn't grow there. Plants don't like sodium. Like even when I worked in a plant tissue culture lab, when we made the media, instead of pHing it, usually in a lab, you'll pH things with sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid to adjust it one way or the other. Well, we would use potassium hydroxide just because we didn't want to put any sodium ions into the solution. So back to your question, BJ, just let the tap run a little bit after you add the salt just to flush it out some. I think it's fine. It's not going to reduce your KH, but you're going to have, there's lots of other good reasons to have a water softener. You're going to have less soap scum. Your fixtures in your house are going to be cleaner. There's other reasons to do it. Oh, the other thing is you're stripping your calcium and magnesium from your water. You're going to have to add that back some way. You may need to add a GH boost.
Yeah.
That
can get expensive if you have a lot of tanks and no GH in your water.
Oh, that's true, because Steven has to do that. Yeah, and I don't think about that. I've never had to worry about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just think about that. Make sure you're testing your GH and seeing what you need to do. You need some GH in your water. You need what, 2 to 3 points for plants?
Yeah, but I know I have with rainbow fish, I keep it like 6.
Yeah, and guppies and
guppies, I keep it 10.
Yeah, because they need that for otherwise they get wet bent spines and stuff.
They'll get all kinds of weird problems.
So just look at that,
Eric. I told you no such thing.
Right.
All I said was I added acid to my water.
if there is one person in this world who should not be given a bottle of hydrochloric acid, it's you, Eric.
It's
Sorry. Put
No.
down the acid. Put it down. All right. Question. About 1.5 months ago, I got some Pocostemon octopus. Now that they have grown some, I'm realized that I planted them too close. Is it okay just to move them? Well, Jenna would tell you it's okay to just rip them out and burn them down. She loves that plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move them. I move shit all the time, all around in these tanks all the time. You know,
Yeah.
this is not set in stone. If you don't
This
like
is
it,
why I would not do well with a dirted tank because
Yeah.
I move stuff so much.
yeah, if you don't like it, move it. If you're sick of that plant, get rid of it. I change things around all the time in these, so yeah. Big Shrimpin says, I guarantee we're all someone else's friend.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm second to Fat Kitty. That's true. No, actually, serious talk here. Big Kitty and Jake are like this. They're bros.
Nice.
Big Kitty likes Jake best. Fat Kitty likes me best. He likes Jake, but he likes me best. But Big Kitty, he likes Jake.
So does Big Kitty like walk around the house meowing for Jake all week until he shows up?
No, Big Kitty, he's chill. I mean, whatever. He doesn't care. He's a cat. But then he's like with Jake, he's like, oh yeah, let's hang out on the couch.
Oh, Bex and Kyle have a cat, Kinsey, that
that's
is
right.
all Kyle's. And whenever Kyle's not home, Kinsey is like an emotional wreck.
Yeah. Every kitty is different. Yeah, every kitty is different. So, yeah, I'm way behind in chat. Big Shrimpin says, I just dumped a tablespoon of salt per 8 gallons on one of my tank because my something's got ick. Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? I mean,
And that's not that bad, a tablespoon
yeah,
per
it's not that bad. I'm just saying that your plants don't like it. They
Yeah,
won't
that
like
won't
it
kill 'em.
long term, but you're going to do water changes once the ick is cleared and it'll be fine. But don't be like, oh, well, this cured my ick and I don't want to get ick again. Maybe I'll keep adding salt. They're not going to like that. So, yeah. Snails love salt and I like Taco Bell. What's the issue? Scotty says. I don't think
So
snails
many
like
issues.
salt. I think your issue's name is Annette. So Zenny says we had a brown spot in the backyard that took years and many layers of topsoil and sod replacement after we had an above ground saltwater pool for a few years. Plants don't like salt and they don't like it. But Matt says his fish like dropping acid. So there you go. Yeah. Paul says I know a store that has to add GH. Steven has to add GH.
Yeah.
So
And I used to get the Aqua Vitro liquid GH. It's like, I don't know, $80 for a gallon of it. And then now I'm got the
yeah.
powder. And even still, if I do a full water change, like in every tank, I use almost an entire pound of that, the GH powder.
Oh,
Wow. I wonder if we could look into some cheaper sources of that for you.
I
You have to
have,
buy it in bulk, but
if y'all can
doesn't go
find
by
something that has calcium and magnesium and maybe potassium, but calcium and magnesium are the main
that's
things.
really
and,
what's important.
and not carbonate.
Yeah.
mhm.
I don't know. I think we could probably look into that because people use them for fertilizers.
Right.
And they're not like fertilizers that'll put you on a government list like nitrates. I wouldn't mess with that. I think that if we poke around to some sources, we can maybe get you a cheaper source. You would probably just need to buy it in a bigger quantity, but it's not going to go bad. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Foxanne, excited for our terrarium training. We're gonna have so much fun.
And I don't think anybody be mad if y'all accidentally click the go live button.
Yes. Yes, please. We want to see the true Dee Dee and Roxanne.
The true. I mean, I don't think one of us is gonna have our. I mean, will I even put on a bra for it? I don't know. Probably not. I'm on vacation. So, Scott.
Waiting for chat to say, we don't mind that either.
Ah! Yeah. Oh, Annette, are you making a terrarium?
She is, yes.
Yeah, she has a jar.
Oh, maybe my next date will go with Annette. I'd go on a date with Annette. And Fat Kitty. No bras allowed. There you go. I once threw a party in grad school, and it was only women were going to it. It was a desserts party, and like you were not allowed to wear a bra, and you had to wear lounge pants. It was a great party, and all we did was eat dessert. It was a great party.
All right.
So Scotty says, I had a date with Annette today. I'm still alive. She wasn't wearing black either.
Yep. I heard about that date that no one else
None of
was
us were invited to.
and
No one
we
was
still have no
invited.
idea what it's about, and they're
Mhm.
being very coy about it. And
Secretive.
I've got to say my feelings are hurt.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, Myrtle, are you off this
Mhm.
week, or do you have class?
I am off starting tomorrow, but I won't be. The dorm closes down, so I'll be at home. For
Got it.
They kick you out for a week, really?
yeah, this building closes down during Thanksgiving, so we have to
Yeah.
move.
Figured. That's common in most dorms. They usually kick you out. So,
Man.
and Steven, when are you taking off from work?
Thanksgiving and possibly the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so you're gonna
I
work.
mean, I just finished up a project Friday, and I don't have anything new yet. So I have not done much of anything. It'll just be, I can get something dumped on me at any point, but right now I don't have anything.
Nice. Yeah, I'm in the middle of like some really big deadlines, but they keep pushing back. Because like they were going to be due in January, but like the biocomp team was like, we're not going to be ready until April. So, all right. Yeah. But so yeah, but I took the whole week off. Just been really nice. So I went to yoga at noon. It's not something I usually do. And I'm grocery shopped. I guess that is something I usually do. It's not very exciting. See, I'm not the weirdest friend. I'm listing all the things. I'm like, wow, this is so fucking boring. So yeah. But Craig Doniger says bras are overrated. Well, that's because you don't have to wear one, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
They're not great. So we have is Austin going?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did say in
Said
chat.
at 10 after.
Okay. Well, if we have a second, I'm gonna take you guys a little closer to see this tank I just trimmed up. What do you think?
Ooh,
Not
nice
bad,
shape.
huh?
Sweet.
See in the back those rotalas?
Hang on. Let me.
That's rotala Atra. And so what I did when I trimmed those is so I trimmed them so they were grown pretty tall. And I trimmed them about halfway down, and then I took some of the tops and I just kind of stuck them in there about halfway. So those little pink tips sticking out, those aren't even rooted. They're just sticking there, and they'll develop little like adventitious roots.
Mhm.
But that way, it doesn't look quite so bare. When it has some pink in the bush there.
For some reason, my Rotala H-Raw didn't do well. I still have a little bit of it left, but a lot of it just kind of died out. I don't know if I just let it get lost and shaded out or what.
I don't know. I think it does really well for me. Even when I lived in Iowa, a lot of rotalas did pretty well. So, thank you, Dee Dee and Paul. So, it did have a bad algae problem, but it's kind of subsided. I didn't really do anything. I did lower the lights a little bit, but mostly I just grinned and bore it and tried to keep up on the pink in the bush. I love you, Dee Dee. So I just tried to keep up on maintenance, manually removing it. And sometimes the tank just needs to reach a certain maturity point where it just passes. And like everyone could be like, oh, you can get rid of algae by, it's really always a problem with this or this or this. And sometimes it's just the tank has to be mature enough. Unlike the people in chat, it has to be mature enough.
Chat has some algae growth right now.
Really does.
That's okay.
But you know, I went through that with this tank, and the higher the KH is, the more time it takes to settle in. So the KH in this tank is pretty low because I don't have any rocks in there. Well, I do have rocks, but I don't have like Sirius stone. So that one settled in right away, but these two have both taken a little longer. And that one took even longer still because it has so much Sirius stone in it. And that's raising the KH. And more KH you have, the harder your life is. And that's just the way it is. But as you can see, I can still grow plants. Just, you know, can't grow chai. Chai is for drinking. Sketty Nona says, where in Iowa? So I'm from Iowa. I'm from Waterloo. I lived there till I was 18. I went to Iowa State for my undergrad in Ames, and then I did my PhD in Iowa City at the University of Iowa. I live in a town called Coralville, which is a suburb of that. Coral in the name tells you how hard the water is. KH and GH of 22.
Good God.
And that's because that's how high the API test goes.
You have half the bottle in one test.
I'm like, I've never, So, very hard water. But yeah, I lived there for, I think, 9 or 10 years. So, and then I moved to Wisconsin, which also had hard water. And then I moved here. So. Oh, and Sketty Nona says 3 of your children went to UNI. My dad went to UNI. So, and that, because that's the town, the university near Waterloo. I always thought KH was a good thing. I have 0. Well, we're jealous of you.
It's good for basically everything except for plants, aquatic plants, because you definitely want some buffer if you don't want to constantly be monitoring your pH and making sure it doesn't crash, and you don't do a lot of water changes.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the sort of person who's like, I only like to change water every 2 months, you should probably put coral in or aragonite sand or something. But if you're going to change your water every week anyways,
right,
I would love to have no KH. I mean, here's the thing. Even if you're a person who wants KH in your water, I will say it's a lot easier to put something in your water than it is to take it out. So, yeah. Silver Creek says, so would porous stone containing quartz veins increase any levels I need to worry about? Because that's what I use. No, quartz is
inert.
Yeah, it's inert. It's not. The things you need to worry about are limestone rocks. So rocks made from calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate. Quartz is fine. Pimpin' Shrimp is in Boone. Oh, yeah. There's a great little state park there. It's just north of Ames. So I've been to Boone. Iowa Rift Lake water. Yeah. Lots of African cichlid keepers there. No surprise there.
Makes sense.
Water's great for it. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's perfect right out of the tap. So, yeah.
Well, does Ahmad want to drop Austin's link in the chat?
Yeah.
Send people over to Fantastic Freaks.
That's right. And happy birthday, Jenna. We love you.
Happy birthday, Jenna.
Have a good birthday. Have some cake.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna order some fancy food.
Ooh, that's good.
We'll see what they got.
That's good. Fancy birthday dinner. Well, I will talk to you all next week.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, thank you all our awesome mods and chatters, lurkers,
Super chatters, replay gang,
replay. Yep.
Lurkers. Thank you so much, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, all.
And if you're not in the United States, happy Thanksgiving anyways.
Eat some turkey
That's
or
right.
some better bird or
Enjoy
some
human
better animal.
carbs.
Turkey is one of the worst birds. Like chicken's much better. Just eat.
Eat
chicken.
an animal of some sort.
Eat a bunch of
Not your fish.
carbs.
Not your fish. Don't eat your
No.
fish on your fish
For
day.
me,
Well, not
Thanksgiving is about carbs, so eat a bunch of carbs.
Yeah, that too. All right.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye,
Bye.
everyone.